Hi, my name is Shaw Ashley, and I'm the creator and director of the NME Junior Survival Challenge, which encompasses the NME Junior Survivor Camp and the NME Celebrity Survivor Challenge fundraiser. You may see me on the Celebrity Challenge episodes hosting all of the tribal councils and a couple of the challenges. And I just wanted to go through each of the contestants and give you a little bit of a cast, in the middle of the game cast assessment, in case, give you some behind the scenes extras as well, in case you haven't seen it on the episode. So I'm going to go through each person, and then the remaining people, I'll kind of give how I feel pre-game, and now knowing post-game what's going to happen, try and kind of guide you. So a little bit more about our pre-jury, our four pre-merge contestants. We had four of them. And our first boot, who placed 15th, was Harrison Santangelo. He was on the Red Tribe, and he is a branch, a Chamber of Commerce executive for our local chamber, and he was one of two last-minute alternates that were put into the game. He replaced Adam Dellinger, who was initially going to be on in the game, but he had to back out 2 days before the challenge came, and Harrison was a last-minute alternate. Harrison really enjoyed his time in the game. He didn't know much about Survivor and didn't have a lot of time to prepare because he was such a late addition into the game. But he really enjoyed his time, but he had some prior engagements for the next day, and he knew he wasn't going to be able to stay the night, and that's kind of one of the other people on his tribe had the same issue, and so they just did rock, paper, scissors, and it was Harrison's choice to go. He already knew he was going to be a pre-merge boot because he did have to leave. He could not stay the night. Um, so we didn't have high expectations for his longevity and strategy because we knew and he knew that he wasn't going to be in the game long. So he is definitely someone we would consider bringing back because he was the first boot, first person to ever be voted out, and he genuinely did enjoy his time, and he does want to play again when he knows he can stay and actually be a part of the game. So he would have a really good second chance story. Our second boot, Nikki Fontana, she is a city council member for North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And same thing with Nikki. Nikki really didn't get a good feel for the show, I think, before the game started. But once she got into the game, she was really excited and seemed like she was ready to be there. And she formed an alliance with the two other girls, Brooke V and Cindy. And unfortunately, at the second tribal council, it was the second time they lost in a row. Unfortunately, Nikki was a part of a blind side, and everybody jumped ship and voted Nikki out for the most part. So Nikki was our second boot. She placed 13th, and again, big blind side. Our next boot, or third boot, who placed 12th, was Samuel Shelton. He is new to the area, and he is a news anchor. He was not an alternate. He had been in the game a couple of months, but he didn't get as much time to fundraise as some of the other ones. He was a little bit of a late addition. Samuel didn't, like some of the others, didn't really know what to expect, didn't get a good feel of the show, and he got into the game knowing that he was ready to play and ready to stay, but a couple of hours before the challenge started, he got a phone call from his boss, and he ended up having an assignment the next day, so he knew he could stay the night. So he knew he was going to be in the pre-merge, but he really played hard, and he was a strong competitor on his team, one of the strongest, and I think he does want to play again, and he would be a good candidate for a second chance season if we were to ever do that. But I think, we just didn't get to see a lot of Samuel because he had to leave. And again, it was between Harrison and Samuel in the first round, and with the blind side of Nikki, Samuel knew he better take the time to go now because he didn't want to risk having to quit the game if their tribe did not lose the fourth challenge. Which, going into the fourth challenge, now we learned that the blue tribe did did lose the challenge, and red won, which was a big pick-me-up for the red tribe because they lost the first three challenges in a row. It is controversial and debatable whether the blue tribe threw this challenge or if they genuinely lost it. We may never know. But at this tribal council, Jamie did go, and I think Jamie had very high expectations, and we were expecting him to do very well. But I think with the red tribe losing the first three challenges, the blue tribe had a lot of downtime, and I think Jamie was not enjoying that much downtime, even though the competition was only a day and a half, 2 days. So Jamie increasingly got bored, and I think he was ready to go at one point. I think part of him really wanted to enjoy the experience and play, but I think part of him was just over it. And he said he had a few prior engagements, but again, who really knows? But he was voted out, and he became our last pre-merge, pre-jury boot. So we enter the merge with final 10, really, at this point. We had 4 people from the red tribe and 6 people from the blue tribe, so there was an obvious, the blue tribe could, and did so far, dominate the first, part of the merge. We saw an epic first tribal council where it was spread out into 2 episodes, but it was just one double elimination in the first merge tribal council. We saw where Chris and Matt, who had an alliance pre-game, they jumped ship to the blue tribe, and most all of the tribe voted for Brooke Vu to go, and Cindy ended up voting for Brooke Vu. However, Sandra voted for Cindy, and Brooke Vu voted for Sandra. So, after the votes were after the votes were cast and before the votes were read, Cindy had 2 idols, and she played one of them to save Brooke Vu, and it negated almost 9 votes, I believe. It negated 8 votes, which is huge, and I don't think that's ever been done in the show. So Cindy ended up kind of screwing herself over because she did make a pretty big heroic move by playing the idol for Brooke, but once she played those, we had only 2 votes that actually counted. One was for Cindy and one was for Sandra. So we had a re-vote, and all of the other contestants voted except for Cindy and Sandra. And unfortunately, Cindy was voted out. She became the 5th person voted out and the first member of the jury. Cindy raised the most money out of all of the other contestants. She raised over $1,000, and she became a fan favorite and a staff favorite among the volunteers out there. Cindy was our oldest competitor at 52 years old, and Cindy, of this cast, has one of the strongest chances to return in a future season because she really wants to. And I think, she was very nervous like the others and didn't know what to expect, but she really proved how big of a competitor she is. And we would, I think many people, a lot of the viewers and the volunteers and, the cast would like to see Cindy back. So, moving on, we got into this most recent episode now, episode 7, where we saw a double elimination. Now, that's not how it happened in the game. Really, Cindy and the next person, that was a double elimination, but that's not how it was shown to y'all. We saw how we went to Tribal, and we saw Brooke Vu, that in the previous Tribal where Cindy went home, Brooke got 8 votes that were negated by Cindy. And Brooke was very, weary, and apparently Brooke spilled some information which caused her to be the target in the previous tribal council, so I think it was the easy vote to go ahead and get Brooke out, and most of the tribe voted for Brooke to go, and Brooke became the sixth person voted out and the second member of the jury. Brooke was, in addition to Harrison, Brooke was our second alternate, and she had one extra day more than Harrison to really gauge what this was all about, and she did an amazing job. I think she reached out to every other contestant just to really introduce herself and try and get those pre-game connections, even though the challenge was just days away. And she watched a lot of Survivor, especially our two tribe captains. So she really tried her hardest to uh, play hard before the game and try and be an equivalent to everyone else. But coming into the game, a lot of people didn't know her, especially because she was a last-minute alternate addition replacing Maritza Plattis, and so Brooke really proved herself, and she is a fan favorite and has a very bubbly personality. So again, she has a lot of these contestants have a good reason to come back, and I think she does. Um, Moving on, I think up to this point, there's only one person, one additional person who's been eliminated, and that is one of our celebrity tribe captains. So at this point, we're in the final 8, 6 original blue, and 2 reds left, which the red tribe is the Mohican tribe, and the blue tribe is the Comanche tribe. And at this point, we have a pretty interesting challenge hosted by me. The first challenge I hosted, the rest was hosted by the wonderful Meredith Chandler. And basically what happened here is Matt won immunity. And that was really good for the Mohicans, but there was nothing there to save Chris. Chris's only connection prior to this game was Matt, and he knew Sandra, and I think Sandra and him had a genuine alliance. But I think Sandra wanted to stay Comanche strong, and with Matt having immunity, which Matt anyways had so many connections on the cast, I'm not sure he would have gone if he didn't have immunity. But with Matt winning immunity and Chris being left, um, Chris became the easy vote to go home. However, we had a very interesting tribal council, and this is the point where tribes kind of started to blur. Initially, we had a 4v4 tie vote at this tribal council. 4 votes for Allie and 4 votes for Chris. However, Brooke Smith, I'll just say Brooke now because she's the only Brooke left in the game at this point. Brooke played a steal a vote, and she stole Matt's vote. Matt was voting for Allie, I believe, and she stole Matt's vote and voted for Chris. So it then became a 5-3 vote with Chris going home, which was a big move by Brooke. It broke the tie essentially before the votes were even read, and it sent Chris home, and he became the 7th person voted out and the 3rd member of the jury. At this point, we are in our final 7, and I won't spoil any more because you've yet to see the final 7 and how that plays out. But we'll quickly go through who's left and talk a little bit about them. So the first person I'll talk about is Sandra. Now, Sandra is one of 2. She's one of the celebrity tribe captains, of course, and has a huge target, probably the biggest target on their back coming into this game outside of Chris, and I guess potentially Cindy for raising the most money and the advantages. And I think everyone knew that Cindy was, had those advantages. But I think Sandra still being in the game halfway through the final 7 speaks a testament to how much she's dominating the game in terms of strategy and the people willingly keeping her around. And with Chris being gone, Sandra is very close, and it's really a big duo with her and Brooke Smith. And Brooke has, and I think Sandra I don't know if Sandra will go all the way, but Sandra has such a big target on her back. But she's shown so far in the episodes that she's dominated the game, and she has a chance at this point. Like I said, Brooke Smith is her duo, and Brooke, in the first couple of episodes, of course, Blue won, and we didn't get to see a lot of her, but Brooke has shown to be an actual strategist, and she's taking notes from Sandra, and she's starting, and you can see it in, especially episodes 6 and 7, her really controlling the votes and being entertaining to watch, and I think that, she is someone to look out for sure. And I think, she's got a lot of connections. She's aligned with Gabby, she's aligned with Allie, she's aligned with Matt, her duo Sandra. She's very well connected, and that could hurt her, but that could also be very good in getting her a lot farther in this game. I'll talk about Charles next. I think thus far Charles is the hardest to read. You've not seen a lot of Charles in the episodes, and I think that's mainly because Charles is just here for fun and he's not strategizing a whole lot. He appears to be a floater and a swing vote, but we saw in this most recent episode his strategic side really started to come out, and he ended up swapping sides and joining in the vote to get Allie out. And that was a pretty big move by Charles, and that could hurt him in the future. But I think everybody enjoys Charles, and if he makes it to the final, he seems to have really good jury management, and the jury will like him. But if he were to go that far, does he have a good resume to even win? That's the big question for Charles. Going on to Matt. Matt is the last Mohican. He has 6 blue members left. Only one of them is gone the entire game. And he is the final person from the red tribe. However, I don't think that necessarily means he's automatically the next to go, because Matt's very well connected on his tribe. Although his duo and Chris is gone, Matt is very well connected, and he's pretty much aligned with everyone except for Charles and Nick. And Matt has shown to be a very big strategist, and might not correspond in the early episodes, as he's pretty much Chris's back right-hand man, and I think you really see it in the merge episodes where Matt's starting to become someone to watch out for, and especially winning this last immunity when he desperately needed it, could be something to watch out for. Um, Moving on to Allie. Allie won the first immunity, and she did okay in the second immunity, but I think something to note about Allie is she's also very well aligned in this game. She is close with Matt, she's close with Gabby, and she's close with Sandra. And she's really close with Brooke because Brooke's got Sandra, so she's very well connected, and she's shown to be very funny and loving in the game, and she's a fan favorite, and I think in the pre-game challenges, especially in the first challenge, she's shown to be a comp beast, and I think she has a good chance of going far. Strategy thus far might not be her biggest strong suit, but she definitely has a good chance of going far, and I think she's someone to look out for. Um, Gabby. Gabby is an interesting one because Gabby really didn't want to be there in the pre-merge. And I think once Jamie went home and they merged, she knew she was in it for the long run and she was there to play. She knew she was going to have to stay the night, which she was dreading. So she said, okay, I've merged. This is a new game and I'm here to play. I can't leave. I'm not quitting. Let's go. And again, Gabby is one of those who's still very well connected. She's got Brooke and Allie. Brooke and Allie have Sandra, and they also have Matt. So she is, again, very well connected. And I think some of the other contestants, because Gabby is our youngest contestant by almost 10 years, and I think they view, and you see this in the episodes where they kind of view Gabby and they're like, you vote for this person, we got all the back work. And I don't think she wants to play that way. She wants to do all the strategy, but they're not letting her. So we're starting to see in these merge episodes, and we'll see in the future where she starts to take control, and she's someone to watch out for. And I believe the last person I have to talk about is Nick. Nick, you've not seen a lot of, but outside of the two celebrity captains, Nick is the biggest Survivor fan on our cast, and he's super excited to play. Again, we didn't get to see a lot of the Comanche tribe, the Blue tribe, pre-merge because the Red tribe, kept going to Tribal Council and losing challenges. But when we saw Nick, Nick was very excited, and he was here to play. We saw in this last episode along with Charles, he flipped sides to vote Allie out. And he is starting to become a threat. And he's done pretty good in the competitions. And he was in the running for the the second challenge that Matt won. And he's someone to look out for. You can see a new duo in him and Sandra starting. And I think he's not that well connected, I should say, but we're starting to see a lot with Sandra, and we're starting to see uh, people like Matt. Matt has people, but if we're looking at original tribes, he needs that core alliance. And I think again, Nick is someone to look out for. He could go far into this game, and I think there's a lot more game for all of these contestants to play. And I'm very excited to let y'all all watch and see how this game plays out. So thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you're enjoying it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and turn the notifications on so you get notified when our new episodes release. We plan to do 10 or 11 episodes, and we will have a reunion that we will air. Um, the whole season should wrap up in the middle or end of August. We anticipate again, like I said, 10 or 11 episodes. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and make sure you like our Facebook page so you get a lot more content, especially about our kids camp. That's next week, the first week of August. So again, thank you all for watching, and please let me know your favorites, who you think's gonna win, who don't you like. So yeah, join our Facebook group and chat about it, or feel free to comment in the comment section. Thank you all again for watching.